The Wikipedia page for Kalshi. Kalshi is an American financial exchange and prediction market based in New York City. It was launched in July 2021, and it offers a platform where both retail and institutional traders can place trades on various future events, including economic indicators, weather patterns, awards, as well as political and legislative outcomes. The platform enables users to trade on yes or no questions, with contracts priced based on the market's estimated probability of an event occurring. The exchange provides contracts that pay out $1 for correct selections. In October 2024, Kalshi received approval to reintroduce election markets, allowing users to wager on political outcomes such as congressional control and presidential elections. And then here's some additional information about Kalshi. And let's go ahead and go to the landing page for Kalshi. I'm going to go ahead and scroll on up here, which shows the landing page for Kalshi. There's some headline betting items up top. And then since I have all selected, it shows all of the potential bets that a person can make. Most of these are election bets. There are other bets as well. Here's a bet on the New York Times new subscribers this quarter. Yes or no for above 300,000. Yes and no or no for above 400,000. There's also a bet for the top song on Spotify USA chart on Wednesday. There's more election betting down here. And then as we continue scrolling down further, there's other bets here as well. The number of Netflix subscribers gained this quarter, about 7 million, yes or no, yes or no. Above 8 million, yes or no. There's a bet on October 2024 temperature increase. Mortgage defaults in quarter 3 2024. Whether Chappell Roan has a number one album this year, whether Chappell Roan has a number one hit this year. When will Apple announce foldable iPhones? And then there's additional hurricane bets that a user can make. More music bets. Here's one on semiconductor production. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of different types of bets a user can make. I'm just going to keep on scrolling down to see what other bets a user can make. Mamma Mia 3 movie announced this year. EV market share in 2030. When will Ethereum hit a new all-time high? Here's one of test scores in math this year. Bet on Drake, whether he has a number one hit this year. Well, here's an interesting one. This is for Costco raises hot dog combo price. Either before 2026, yes or no, or before 2025, yes or no. Let's go ahead and watch a video about Kalshi. Here's a video about the Kalshi founders and their electronic exchange Kalshi. The video is quite a bit louder, so please turn down your volume on your speaker.
In this episode of New York Next, we speak with the two 20-somethings who've launched the first legal election prediction market that's now getting cited by Elon Musk and JD Vance. They tell us how it's bringing transparency to elections.
Markets don't lie. Just ask people to put money where their mouth is, have some skin in the game, and when they do, it becomes unbiased, it becomes more truthful.
How much money has flooded into the platform since it went live?
The last I checked was over like 110 million just on elections.
And the legal fight they had to wage to make it all happen.
And if the government doesn't let us do something, we're like, okay, well, let's take it up to the courts and see who's right on the law. And we were right on the law, and so now we're doing it legally.
Can you just define for listeners, watchers, readers, what exactly it is that you do?
Of course, we are the first legal prediction market in the US, so basically you can trade or bet on the outcome of any event. So the election is a great example, but we also offer markets on, will a hurricane hit Florida again, and from a very, very broad category of things, even like culture and Oscars and all of that.
So if I have $1 and I want to bet that Kamala Harris is going to win,
right?
How do I proceed with betting?
At this point, I think the odds, the last I checked, were like 60% for Trump or 40% for Kamala. So basically what it means is like that if you put 60 cents, you get $1. So basically you make that 40 cents of profit.
Whoever loses the bet pays you.
So what we do as an exchange is we match the two people, right? There's someone on the other side saying, I want to buy Kamala for 40 cents. And you say, I want to buy Trump for 60 cents. So then we match you and we take the money. And then when the election happens and there's a winner, we allocate the money to whoever wins.
What do you think this means to finally have, in a century, the first legal election prediction market? What kind of impact do you think that's going to have on the election?
It actually enhances democracy in a way. There's a lot of research that says that when people are putting money behind their predictions, they actually do more research, it increases voter engagement, it does all of these things. And you also get a single number, a better forecast for the election because people are putting money behind their positions. It's very easy to say, I think this candidate's going to win, but when you're actually backing it with real money, you get better forecasts.
What it means is, I think, two things. People can now participate and engage a bit more meaningfully with the election. People have had this sort of a feel of like, I don't have control of who wins and I'm just gonna take the impact and the consequence no matter what it is. And now you can actually do something about it. You can make money off of it if you have a conviction about who is gonna win, or you can hedge against an outcome that is negative for you, which I think is a very powerful thing. The second thing, and I think this is a big topic of conversation right now, is these markets are a mechanism for truth. There's been a lot of misinformation in the last 10 years and it's rampant. It's actually getting worse and worse. Polls are getting less and less accurate. It's actually the best mechanism to get more truth about who's actually going to win. We're letting the market speak instead of pundits, pollsters. Markets don't lie. You just ask people to put money where their mouth is, have some skin in the game, and when they do, it becomes unbiased, it becomes more truthful. And I think that's our approach to basically delivering more truth to the world.
Is there other information that you try and disclose or share with people who are using the service to enhance that trust?
Our data is publicly available and it's open source on the API. Anyone can pull the data and look at the trades over time, where the money is flowing, how much is being traded and bet on Trump versus how much is being traded and bet on Kamala. It's like opening a brokerage account. They have to give us their SSN, their names, etc. But on Kalshi, it's important. People have been saying, oh, maybe it's a few large accounts, whales, that are pushing Trump's odds up. And that we have released data to show that this is not actually true. All these claims about like biases, gender, age, also, and so on and so forth are not really true.
This has been a crazy month for you guys, and this is the first time in a century that election predictions are legal in the US. Why do you think there was such a hesitancy? And
over $80 million in trades on the presidential election after the company listed its US legal betting market earlier this month. Joining us right now is Kalshi CEO Tarek Mansour. Good morning. You are now, I was looking on the App Store because you mentioned it. Like he's beating most of the apps on the App Store.
Really?
Kalshi. It's kind of a crazy situation. So tell us what's happening. How many people have you onboarded since this all began, and what are you seeing?
Yeah, well, I mean, the demand has exploded. So we have actually in all election markets now, we have, I think, close to $200 million traded already. We are now number one on the finance app store. We just overtook Cash App, which has had the spot for I don't know how many years now. And on the global app store, I think we are just about to reach number 10. So we just overtook Facebook, Uber, Spotify, and a few other apps. I think we're gunning for number one for the entire app store by election day. So the demand curve is truly exponential, and we're seeing, as of this week, I think we're in the hundreds.
And what are the amount of bets that people are making?
So it's a very large diversity, and it's been interesting because people have been saying, that the odds are up, the Trump odds are up because there are a few whales that are pushing the odds up.
Right.
So I cannot speak about unregulated offshore companies, but we are regulated onshore, only Americans. And on Kalshi, actually, the average bet size is slightly larger for Kamala Harris than for Donald Trump. So it's actually more bettors betting on Donald Trump than they are on Kamala Harris.
And what are the amounts of these bets?
So it ranges. The average bet size is around $300, $400. But there are people that are doing in the millions. So people that are doing.
But the fears of what we talked to you about seem to be borne out by the French whale with 4 accounts or whatever. But then it turned out it was only $28 million versus billions. Weight, it was 0.1%. And it really looked like it was some French guy who thinks Trump's going to win and wants to make $28 million is what it looks like. Or is it definitely being manipulated by someone who wants to try? I was kidding. I said it was the French guy. Ilani Mosquet was the guy making but it's not Elon.
It's not Elon. So it's important to differentiate, and I say this always. So prediction markets now are starting to have many flavors. That you're announced there's more competitors coming up, which is a good thing.
Which I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
What the implication of that's going to be for you?
No, I think that's great. I mean, I think it's a bit like, crypto 10 years ago. You start seeing a lot of operators, some good ones, some bad ones. And I think we need to differentiate between the unregulated players where you don't know who's trading and who's betting versus places like Kalshi, which is Americans only, fully transparent reporting.
What's the difference between betting on Robinhood, for example, using the Interactive Brokers derivative contract versus betting on your exchange?
We have way more contracts. So they're doing one market, we're doing a whole suite. We have, I think close to 100 now. We have much more liquidity. So on there, you can take maybe $10,000. On Kalshi, you can take millions easily without moving the price. And I'd like to think we have a much better product. You can enter and exit on hours. There, you can only enter. We have better margin methodology and so on.
When you look at the folks that are doing this, and you said, so Trump is up by how much?
62%.
62%. And what do you think that represents? Do you think that will be an accurate representation on the day after of where things ultimately land? How do you sort of calculate the sort of theory of crowds here?
So it's a great question because I think people are confusing the odds that these markets are giving us with polling.
Polls. Right?
So people are saying things like Trump is up by 24 points, and they're confusing that. So if Trump is up 24 points in the polls, that's like a 100% chance of winning.
Right.
It's done.
Right. That's not.
This is not what this is saying. This is it's a coin flip with a bias. It's a biased coin flip, and now it's biased, by 60-40. So it's still a coin flip. It's biased though, but 40% chance of winning is not 0% chance of winning. It's 40%.
Right.
What do you do after the election with this platform that you've created?
So I think we always think that these markets, these prediction markets, or any markets, they're marketplace. A marketplace have what we call like an activation energy, or they need a critical mass. Once you hit that critical mass, they kind of work because people share them, the press talks about them, everybody uses them for, will Eric Adams, we have that market, be ousted as mayor of New York? Will TikTok get banned next year? Will the Boeing CEO get fired? You become to use them as a source of truth for anything. And I think the election is sort of this holy grail event that gets you that critical mass.
Do you think this is going to change everything? You think all of a sudden now, here's a real question. So right now we're talking about your market and others as I don't know if it's a